To go, because we all know why we're here, don't we? And none of us really wants to be here tonight, do we? Yeah, detention. And why are we in detention? Well, we didn't hand in our Shakespeare Rattle. Now, I'm Mr. Dimmery, head of classics, and many of you won't know me because most of the people I teach do hand in their homework. And today I shall be taking you through this lesson. This folder contains the National Curriculum Guide to Fourth Form Shakespeare. And frankly, I really don't think they can dumb it down enough. Now, according to this guide, I have to entertain you. And this is quite fortunate, really, because I am, in fact, a member of the Swindon Operatic and Dramatic Society, or SODS. Now, I have been lent a number of costumes, props and effects by the wardrobe mistress of SODS, and so I will be attempting to take you through some of the speeches, the soliloquies, the poems, and more specifically, the songs of William Shakespeare. So, without further ado, I'd like you to imagine, if you would, that you are on a sun-kissed Jamaican beach. That would be very easy for some of you. And listening to the sounds of reggae. I think you'll find this very interesting. I dare say many of you have heard of Bob Marley, have you?
Yeah.
Good, lots of enthusiasm out there. This is a song from Shakespeare's hit musical, if you will, or what you will. It's called As You Like It. And we'll do it in the reggae style. Now, you can clap your hands if you wish, but you must clap on the third beat to the bar. I don't want to see anybody getting it wrong. Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so kind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen, because thou art not seen, although thy breath blew. Hey ho, sing hey ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is fading, most loving near folly. Then hey ho to the holly, for his life is most jolly. You see, Shakespeare rhymed jolly with holly long before there were Christmas cards. Freeze, freeze, thou bitter sky, thou dost not bite so nigh as benefits for God. Though thou the waters walk, thy sting is not so sharp, but friend, remember not. Hey ho, sing hey ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is fading, most loving in folly. Then hey ho to the holly, for his life is most jolly. I see a number of people walked in late. Have you got an excuse?
Buying my drink?
You were buying a drink. See me afterwards. Right, you'll need your pens out for this. I want to take notes. You may be somewhat surprised that I am actually able to play a guitar at my age, but in fact I was in a folk trio when I was in my teens, called Peter, Paul and Mr. Dimmery. Now, Shakespeare often saw writing in art as a way to immortality. One of his lesser-known epic poems is The Passionate Pilgrim. In verse 8, he makes reference to the great poet and playwright Edmund Spenser, who pioneered the poetry form we know as the iambic pentameter, a rhythm and stress which was used by Shakespeare and his many contemporaries, as it seemed ideally suited to the natural rhythms of the English language. He also refers to the composer John Dowland, who may have greatly influenced the setting of Shakespeare's songs to music. If music and sweet poetry agree, as needs they must, the sister and brother, then must the love be great twixt thee and me, because thou lovest the one and I the other. There is a direct link between the folk songs of Shakespeare's time and the folk music of the last century. Some songs were transported to America with the early settlers, where they resurfaced in the American folk tradition. One of the best known songs is Froggy Went A-Courting. Froggy Went A-Courting has been covered by songwriters such as Pete Seeger and Bob Dylan, even the young Bruce Springsteen. The origin of the song is thought to be pre-Elizabethan, but the words we now use supposedly refer to Alençon de Medici, the eminent Frenchman, who came to woo the 40-year-old Elizabeth I at court. The romance bloomed at first, but founded on the reluctance of the monarch to be courted by a Catholic. Elizabeth used to bestow nicknames on her courtiers, and Alençon became known as a Grand Nuit, or Froggy. And the song probably would have been sung in those days rather like this. If we listen to the rhythm, it might be quite interesting. Frog went courting to ride on. Frog went courting and he could ride on. Frog went courting and he did ride with swords that stood by his side. Frog went courting and he did ride on. Well, he rode up to Miss Mouse's door. Well, he rode up to Miss Mouse's door. Well, he rode up to Miss Mouse's door between a branch and a very big roar. Said he, Miss Mouse, are you within? Said he, Miss Mouse, are you within? Said he, Miss Mouse, are you within? Said Miss Mouse, listen, whisper. Now, as you can see, the simple rhythm of this song and the structure of it lends itself to many other rock and roll type songs. Oh, bless my soul, much more, baby. I'll bet you like my love was in truth. My friend Sam acted wild as a fuck, real love. I'm all shook up, yeah. Well, I can't see you stand on feet. Who do you like that's what love? All shook up, Froggy went a-courting, he did right. Thank you very much. Now Puck, I said Puck, from Midsummer Night's Dream sings a song which perfectly fits the scandal of blues. Shakespeare called Puck a sprite, or a spirit, or maybe a fairy, in a true sense of the word. And one of many mischievous and sometimes spiteful sprites that would be thought of as elvish. So here we have Puck singing in the style of Howlin' Wolf with just a little touch of elvish. Now the lion roars and the wolf be howling with the heavy clown snores, always weary task undone. Now around the when she lies in woe. Now it is the time of night that the graves all gaping wide, every sprite is forth this night, in the churchway paths to glide, and we fairies that do run from the presence of the sun. From the presence of the sun, fall in darkness like a dream. Now on earth this tiny mouse shall declare this little house. I'm swept before to sweep the dust upon the floor. Gentle, do not reckon, if you part, we will lend a hand as I honest part. If we never burn in love, now we reach can fall, we will make the beds along the end of a lion call. So good night until you walk, so good night until you walk, so good night until you walk. That's quite enough of him. Now, to signify the spirit world, Shakespeare used a poetic style of writing in short rhyming couplets, such as the witches in the bed. When shall we three meet again in thunder, lightning, or in rain? When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won. You see, the rhythm and rhyme are somewhat like a rap, like a dizzy rasp, timely temper, if you will. And especially in the later cauldron scene, when the witches cast their spells. But it can also fit a type of music which borrows its name from a term used by Shakespeare in All's Well That Ends Well, punk. Then it meant a painted whore or prostitute, but now it has come to mean a reprobate, a young outcast, still painted and outlandish, from Shakespeare to Joe Strummer. When shall we three meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain? When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won, and that will be ere the setting sun. Double, toil and trouble, join in, fire, burn, cauldron, bubble, and again. Double, toil and trouble, fire, burn, cauldron, bubble. Village of the fetting snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Iron newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. The lizard's leg and howling swing, the lizard's leg and howling swing. Double, toil and trouble, fire, burn, cauldron, bubble. Double, toil and trouble, fire, burn, cauldron, bubble. Get the idea. In the sonnets, Shakespeare also dwells on death and the demise of all things. Since brass, nor stone, nor earth, nor boundless sea, but sad mortality o'ersways their power. How with this rage shall beauty hold a plea, whose action is no stronger than a flower? Oh, how shall summer's honey breath hold out against the wrathful siege of battering days, when rocks impregnable are not so stout, nor gates of steel so strong, but time decays. Oh, fearful meditation, where alack shall time's best jewel from time's chest lie hid? Or what strong hand can hold his swift foot back, or who his spoil of beauty can forbid? Oh, none, unless this miracle have might, that in black ink my love may still shine bright. Shakespeare's song lyrics may be poetic, but they aren't poems set to music. The same could be a great and mournful clown in Twelfth Night, singing of being laid to rest in his cypress wood coffin with his yew-clad shroud. Bob Dylan would have given the song "Come Away Death" all the reverence of a hard rain's going to fall. Come away, death, and his sad cypress let me be. Fly away, breath, I'm slain by a fair cruel maid. My shroud of white all stuck with you, oh Mary. My thought of death no was so true, it's Sherry. Not a flower sweet, on my sad coffin let it be thrown. Not a friend green, my home course where my bones shall be thrown. A thousand sighs to say, lay me away. Said true love never find my grave to be there. I'll be despairing. My shroud of white all stuck with you, oh buried. I thought of death no one so true, it's Sherry. Come away, death, and in sad cypress let me be. Fly away, breath, I'm slain by a fair cruel maid. And let me tell you, it takes many years of practice to play the harmonica as badly as Bob.
You were too good.
Just be quiet at the back, please. I've just a page or two. Shakespeare was not always preoccupied with death or with the sadness of life. He was sometimes cynical and embittered, but often funny and very romantic. One of his most famous sonnets was quoted by another with an elvish name, a name that would fit well amongst the sprites of a Midsummer Night's Dream, like Puck, Peas Blossom, Cobweb and Mustard Seed, but his name is really Gordon. But he's better known to you and I as Sting, who famously borrowed the line, "My mistress' eyes are like the sun." In this sonnet, William Shakespeare glories in his lover's unconventional looks. At a time when fair skin and hair were said most attractive, Will's lover has a dark or dun complexion, and her hair is not smooth but like wires. It is even speculated that his dark lady of the sonnets may have even been North African or Italian. In sonnet 130, we hear the voice of the unpretentious small-town boy from the middle of England. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun? If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damask red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go, My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as any she and I were forced to bear. Sting would, no doubt, have enjoyed the more conventionally romantic song from Love's Labour's Lost, called So Sweet a Kiss. Now, I tried to gauge effects or costume to do this. I thought the only thing I could possibly do was tear my shirt open and show you my pectorals. However, I shan't do that.
The tantric sex.
Or tantric sex, thank you, Freeman. So sweet a kiss, the golden sun gives none to those fresh moving drops upon the moon. Sigh I beams when their fresh rays have smoke. The tears are down my cheeks will slowly flow. Oh, queen of queens, how far thou dost excel. No thought can think, no tongue of mortal tell. Oh, queen of queens, how far thou dost excel. No thoughts can think, no tongue of mortal tell. For shines a silver moon on half so bright through the transparent bosom of the deep. As doth thy face through tears of mine give light, thou shines in every year that I do weep. Oh, queen of queens, how far thou dost excel. No thoughts can think, no tongue of mortals tell. Oh, queen of queens, how far thou dost excel. No thoughts can think, no tongue of mortal tell. But do not love thyself, and thou wilt keep my tears for glasses, and still may grieve. Oh, queen, queen of queens, oh, queen of queens. Love could also be treacherous and deceitful. The sonnets chart how Shakespeare loses one lover to another. True love was not always the reason for making a good marriage. A healthy dowry and inheritance was a great inducement, particularly if a kingdom was at stake. Now, despite having murdered her husband, Richard III, at this point, the Duke of Gloucester, sees the Lady Anne as a vital acquisition in his ambition to seize the throne, and sets about wooing her literally over the coffin of her father-in-law, Henry VI, whom he has also cruelly slain. And on convincing the Lady Anne to be betrothed to him, Richard turns to the audience and takes them into his confidence, gloating with smug glee at his cunning and deceit. As performed, I may say, with some acclaim by myself in the Swindon Operatic and Dramatic Society, but somewhat in the style of Sir Laurence Olivier. Was ever woman in this humour wound? Was ever woman in this humour won? I'll have her, but I will not keep her long. What, that I killed her husband and his father? And I, all the world, with no friends to back my suit at all, but the plain devil and dissembling looks. And will she yet abase her eyes on me? Ha! 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 And will she yet abase her eyes on me? I do mistake myself with this one. She thinks, though I cannot myself, a marvellous proper man. I'll be at pains to engage a score or two of tailors to study fashion to adorn my body. Shine out, fair sun, till I have seen a light. I've actually forgotten the last word. Shine out, fair sun, till I've bought a glass, that's it, that I may see my shadow as I pass. It's the memory, I'm afraid. It goes off if you like, near retirement. Balthazar, in Much Ado About Nothing, sings a song that warns women of the deception of men. He ends each verse with the term, hey, nonny, nonny, which I suppose these days might mean, get over it, or party, or something like that. But in Buddy Holly's day, this he might have said, rave on. When it's time no more, it's time no more, and the world is seen as ever. One foot on the sea and one on the shore, one thing constant never. It's time so to let them go. When you be blind and balmy, burning all your sounds and woes. Hey, nolly, nolly, sing no more, sing no more, and don't so dull heavy. The cost of men was never the soul. This song first was lady. They silent song to let them go. When you be blind and balmy, burning all your sounds and woes. Hey, nolly, nolly. That's how the soul will let them go. When you be blind and balmy, referring all your sounds of woe. Hey, nolly, nolly, hey, nolly, nolly, hey, nolly, nolly. I'm now going to allow you a short break, where you may gain some refreshment of a legitimate kind, I hope. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. Now, I have a word for the boys. If I see any more pornography on the lavatory walls, there'll be trouble. I shall come amongst you. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Don't be late. Don't play around with the ball in front of you either.
Are you too? Are you all
No,
here?
no, I'm drinking. Well, not too.
What are you drinking? I've heard this be I've heard this be illegal, illegal,
Yes, and illiterate.
It's easy for me.
It's easy to use, though, yes.
I'm not going to bother with the joke. Some hooch being brewed out back. That's what I meant to say. Moving on. Schubert and others have adapted a well-known love song by Shakespeare, perhaps one of the best known, Who is Sylvia? From Two Gentlemen of Her Own. And I thought we'd start the second half with another bespectacled idol of the 50s, Roy Orton. Who is Sylvia?
wise as she, that held such grace to lend her, that she might admire me. Oh, Sylvie, is she kind as she is fair? For beauty lives in kindness, love doth to her eyes repair, to help him of his blindness, and being helped inhabits them fair Sylvia. Oh, Sylvia, and to Sylvia let us sing, that Sylvia is excelling. She excels each mortal thing upon the dull earth dwelling. To her land us garlands bring, Sylvia. Oh, Sylvia.
I shall throw you out in a few minutes. This lyrical toady is reminiscent of Shakespeare's own Sylvia-like dedication to Henry Risley at the beginning of the epic poem Venus and Adonis. Right Honourable, I know not how I shall offend in dedicating my unpolished lines to your lordship, nor how the world will censure me for choosing so strong a prop to support so weak a burden. Only if your honour seem but pleased, I account myself highly praised, and vow to advantage of all idle hours, till I have honoured you with some grave labour. But if the first heir of my invention prove deformed, I shall be sorry it had so noble a godfather. I leave it to your honourable survey and your honour to your heart's content, which I wish may always answer to your own wish and the world's hopeful expectations. Your honours in all duty, William Shakespeare. Henry Risley, Lord of Southampton, was not only Shakespeare's patron, but probably his lover. Risley cut an elegant, if effeminate, figure in his portraits, with exceedingly long and girlish red hair, indeed fetchingly longer on one side than the other, like some of you here today. Outwardly, Risley was like the skipping King Richard II, but in his political associations, his attempt to bring down Queen Elizabeth, and his apparent betrayal of Shakespeare himself, Risley was more a Richard III. Richard III left no doubts about his motives from the very start of the play, as he limps down stage and draws the audience into his own evil conspiracy, as would the arch-villain in a Victorian melodrama, bemoaning the end of the War of the Roses and how it has left him with little but to seem misshapen, and a misshapen misfit at that, in the court of his brother, King Edward IV. Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by the sun, and all the clouds that around our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now, on our brow bows bound with victorious wreaths. Our stern alarms changed to merry meetings. Grim-visaged war hath slew his wrinkled front, and now instead of mounting market steeds, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of the mute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, I, that want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, while I, in this weak and wild time of peace, have no delight but to spy my shadow in the sun, and descant on my own deformity. Laurence Olivier's version of this speech has been much parodied over the years, most notably by Peter Sellers, who released a single, or a gramophone record as we called it in those days, which used the words and music of the Beatles, produced by George Martin himself, to sound like the famous film score to Richard III by William Walton. It's been a hard day's night. And I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log. But when I get home to you, I find the things that you do will make me feel all right. And what better excuse than to take a Shakespeare song, this one's called The Wind and the Rain, and utilize it. Ah, wait. Sorry. Quite naked without these. When I was a little tiny boy with a hey-ho, the wind and the rain, a foolish thing, was but a toy for the rain. It rained every day. But when I came to a man's estate with a hey-ho, the wind and the rain gave knaves and thieves better shut their gates for the rain. It rained every day. But when I came, alas, to wide with a hey-ho, the wind and the rain, my swaggering, I could never thrive for the rain. It rained every day. Ooh, a great while ago, the well began with a hey-ho, the wind and the rain, but that's all gone. Our play is done, and we'll strive to please you every day. I said please, please, please you every day. Please, please, please you every day. Rain, I don't mind. Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention. A kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France? Or may we cram within this wooden O the very casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? The wooden O was Shakespeare's theatre, an open-roof polygon allowing in natural light. Those who stood before the high stage were called groundlings. Others paid to enter tiered accommodation around the perimeter of the arena, where they had a roof over their head and a seat below their buttocks. There were several theatres in London during Shakespeare's day, like the Rose, the Swan, bearing names more akin to the inn yards they developed their design from. The one simply called the Theatre, though, in Shoreditch, was best known, and in that Shakespeare served as the main playwright under the great actor-manager of the time, Richard Burbage. due to a problem with the lease, the theatre was literally dismantled and removed to Southwark across the Thames. The skeleton of the building, when dismantled, was laid onto carts and stored away. In 3 days, a large bare circle, framed by the snow, was all that remained of the original theatre. Richard Burbage, almost a Richard Burton of his day, retained his princely resolve throughout the crisis. Once more out to the breach, dear friends, once more, or close them all up with our English dead. This is our Agincourt. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. We will not simply build again our theatre from these splinters and these carved girders, but we shall erect the greatest theatre in London, indeed the greatest of all realms. It will be a Colosseum, a theatre to match that of the Romans or the Greeks, a theatre that all will enter with the reverence of a cathedral. We will not call this theatre by the name of a bear, a rose or a swan. This theatre will hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature. All the world is here. All the world is our stage. This theatre shall be named the Globe. Richard Burbage was a big-framed actor and needed a big voice to fill a space that was more like a tennis court than a modern-day theatre. The groundings, too, would have needed the control of a charismatic star actor to prevent them disturbing those who came to revel in language rather than simple spectacle. Burbage played all the kings and was history's first Hamlet. Shakespeare used songs mostly in comedies, but Hamlet has a song or two, though, sung by poor, mad Ophelia. Mourning for her father and believing herself to be betrayed by Hamlet, Ophelia laments on the matter of thwarted love, on how a man takes a maiden's innocence and then deserts her for her weakness. Now, I have tried singing this song in a soft, feminine soprano, but it came out a little bit like the reprehensible James Blunt. So I borrowed from Neil Young, you may have heard of him. And this is Ophelia song, Valentine's Day. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, and in the morning betime, and I am made at your window to be your Valentine. Penelope rose and on his clothes and ducked the chamber door. Let in a maid that out of maid never departed home. By Jason, by Saint Charity, a lack of fine shame. Young men will do it if they come to it. By cock, they are to blame. Cold she before you, tumbled me, you promised we would wed. So what I've done by yonder sun, if thou's not come to my bed. Quoth she before you, tumble me, you promised we would wed. So what I've done by yonder sun, and now's not come to my bed. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, and in the morning time, I am made at your window to be your Valentine. In her madness and despair, Ophelia uses uncharacteristic innuendo and crudity. Up he rose and tumbled her, and young men come to it like cock. They are to blame. Yes, yes, you think you invented vulgarity, but it was invented long before you. Shakespeare was more than capable of using the kind of innuendo that would shame and carry on film. In Sonnet 135, he takes full advantage of the double entendre readily supplied by his name, Will. When writing this caustic missive to his lover, Will's will rarely have been so exhausted. Perhaps this little carry-on would not sound inappropriate given a recitation by that master of the classics, Kenneth Williams. Whoever hath her wish, thou hast thy will, and will to boot, and will in overplus, more than enough mine that vex thee still, to thy sweet will-making addition thus. Wilt thou, whose will is large and spacious, not once vouchsafe to hide my will in thine? Or possibly for a coward, no, yes, no. Shall will in others seem right gracious, and in my will no fair accepted shine? The sea or water receives rain still, and in abundance addeth to his store. So thou being rich, and to thy will, yes, one will of mine to make my large will more. Calm down, Mrs. Let no unkind, no fair beseechers kill. Think all but one, and me in that one will. The sonnets contain much that is revealing about Shakespeare's active love life, and ultimately there is surmise that debauchery did for poor old Will. His death, possibly on his 52nd birthday, was perhaps hastened by venereal disease. It was perhaps in declining health that Shakespeare retired back home to his hometown of Stratford-upon-Avon. There was no room for wit and wordplay in Will's last will and testament, in which he bequeathed to his wife Anne the second best bed. Much has been made of this, although it may have been simply in keeping with the tradition of the time, rather than the final insult from the grave. Anne was the wife from whom he escaped to London. Anne Hathaway was 26 when the 18-year-old William took up with her. Their daughter Susanna was born only 5 months after the wedding. Remarkably premature. It is evident that Shakespeare may have been somewhat impulsive when he wandered into the woods with Anne Hathaway, who at 26 would have been considered well over the hill or past it in Elizabethan times. Even so, when Will wrote it was a lover and his lass in As You Like It, set in the Forest of Arden, which was in the memory of Mary Arden, his mother, Shakespeare manages to see the funny side of an all-too-common experience. The cheeky ditty that he wrote here might have been a precursor to all those George Formby songs of the 1930s, like Give Me Little Stick, The Black Bull Rock. It was a lover and his last delay. Oh, hey, no, you know, don't the creek of it did pass. Hey, no, you know. In the springtime, the only pretty in time, birds will sing. Hey, ding-a-ling-a-ling, sweet lovers, do love in the spring. Hey, beats will be acres up and lie with a hay. Oh, hey, no, you know, this pretty country folks will lie. Hey, no, you know. In the springtime, the only pretty time birds will sing, hey, ding-a-ling-a-ling, sweet lovers, all up in the spring. This carol they began that town with a hay. Oh, hey, nonny, no, but love was rhyme with the flower, hey, nonny, no. In the springtime, the only pretty time birds will sing, hey, ding-a-ling-a-ling, sweet lovers, all up in the spring. And therefore take the Shakespeare retired to Stratford, having built the best house in the town. He was apparently visited by many of his contemporaries in retirement, including, it is said, Ben Jonson, and that's not the rather frequent poet, who once seemed so envious of his fellow playwright that he wished Shakespeare had blotted 1,000 of his lines. Legend has it, Shakespeare died after a night of excess with corpulent Jonson. But if Shakespeare's rather shaky signature on Will's will is anything to go by, a night out on the tiles was not within his capabilities. But Jonson, nonetheless, commemorated his fellow playwright and poet in a way that leaves no doubt as to the impact Will made on his own life. Mentioning many other of the great playwrights of the time, even Queen Elizabeth and King James I, Jonson, in true character, does not mince his words when commemorating Shakespeare. To the memory of my beloved Master William Shakespeare, and what he hath left us, by Ben Jonson. To draw no envy, Shakespeare, on thy name, am I thus ample to thy book and fame, while I confess thy writings to be such as neither man nor muse can praise too much. I therefore will begin. Soul of the age, the applause, delight, the wonder of our state, my Shakespeare, rise. I will not lodge thee by Chaucer or Spencer or bid Beaumont lie a little further to make thee a room. Thou art a monument without a tomb, and art alive still while thy book doth live, and we have wits to read and praise to give. Sweet swan, what a sight it were to see thee in our waters, yet there. Jonson knew Shakespeare's verse had made him immortal. It enraptured and evoked. Will tackled the great questions of love, life and death more eloquently than any writer in the English language, before or since. He was indeed a true mind to which we all are wedded. This last song couples together two of the great sonnets. Let me not to marriage of true minds, and my mistress' eyes are nothing like myself. With apologies, of course, for bastardizing William Shakespeare's words, but also to Stevie Wonder, also to Crowded House, to Led Zeppelin, and any number of bands that use this identical riff. Let me not to the marriage of true minds and little impediments. Love is not love when in alteration finds its elements. Oh no, is ever fixed in love, the star to every wandering bar, whose worth so known there is height be taken. Love's not time's fool, the rosy lips and cheeks within its compass not. Love alters not with the hours and the weeks, but to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me I've never written nor no man ever loved in the marriage of true minds. In the marriage of true minds. voluptuous eyes are nothing like the sun, nor her lips so red. I love to hear her speak, and well I know the words that might be said. Yet I have not been my lover's friend, as if she declined false compared in the marriage of my in the marriage of mine. If music be the food of love, play on, give me excess of it. Shakespeare outlived the globe itself, which burned down in 1613, when a cannon fired to mark the commencement of the play sent such a spark that it caught the thatch of the theatre roof. The globe was rapidly engulfed. All escaped. There was one reported casualty. A man had his burning pants extinguished with a tankful of vinegar. The Tempest was a play which marked Shakespeare's retirement as a member of his company. Shakespeare noted his departure from the stage with this epilogue, spoken by the exiled magician Prospero, who announces that this rough magic I here endure, and concludes the play, the career, and the life. Now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have to mine own, which is most faint now. 'Tis true, I must be here confined by you. But release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to goodness. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all force. As you from your crimes will pardon me, let your indulgence set me free. And to quote from Hamlet, good night, sweet dreams, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. The rest is silence. You are dismissed.
Yes, oh, another song.
I'll do a request as long as it's one that's in the show. Not the last one, I don't want to do that again. I think I might get the words right if I do this time. Again, I'll do
Johnny Rotten.
Do Elvis.
No.
We like Elvis.
Okay. No, we'll do Buddy Holly, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the glasses on.
Well, I sound no more, it's not no more. And we'll see it. One that I see, one of the I'll say next time let me know. And you be like somebody, very on yourself. Hey, honey, honey.
one thing I see.